welcome back to another episode of our WWE 2K16 Universe Mode. Now this is going to be our next episode of Global Force Wrestling's Amped, and as you can know, well, as you probably do know, we've got our next pay-per-view in 3 weeks' time. I think that's going to be our Mexican-based pay-per-view. So yeah, we're building up to that. As you can see at the bottom of the screen though, again, the game seems to have deleted one of our feuds. It's deleted Nakamura versus Roderick Strong, so we'll still try and carry on with that manually. I have no idea why it keeps doing this. It's really frustrating, but hopefully sooner or later they'll bring out a patch to fix it anyway. But here we go with tonight's card. So we're going to see Fenix taking on Drago. And Fenix, of course, the Intercontinental Champion, was defeated by Drago last week. So Drago is the #1 contender, and he will get a match at the Mexican set of pay-per-views. But the rivalry continues here this evening. Then we're going to see our first match from the Top Prospect Tournament this evening. It's going to be Nick Jackson taking on Jack Evans. And Matt Jackson and Angelico will be at ringside. We'll see another match from the Top Prospect Tournament. I think it's the last of the quarterfinals. It's going to be Will Ospreay taking on Mark Andrews. Then we're going to see the Sumerian Death Squad, Michael Dante and Tommy N, taking on the Unbreakable effing Machines, Brian Cage and Michael Elgin. Prince Puma is going to take on another new member of the Disciples of Death. Of course, last week we saw Pentagon Jr. join that formation. This week, Mil Muertes has promised us a new one, so we'll have to see if that's going to be this evening as well. As I said, we're going to continue this feud manually. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Roderick Strong. And of course, our main event this evening will be Kurt Angle taking on Adam Cole. So without further ado, let's get straight into our next match. And here is that first match. It's going to be Fenix, the Intercontinental Champion, looking to get his own back on Drago. And we are underway. And just a little bit of interesting news I've just read. Sorry, I'm going to cut that out because I left that sat there for quite a while. I've left it sat there for about 10 minutes. But I've just had a buzz through my phone from Facebook. And apparently there's a lot of sources around the world since Wrestle Kingdom has just taken place a couple of days ago that are quoting AJ Styles, Doc Gallows, Carl Anderson and Shinsuke Nakamura are all due to join WWE in the next few months. Now that would be pretty interesting to say the least. That would be, yeah, that would be really, really. I'm happy about that. I'd love to see Nakamura on a higher plane, and this has also been a little bit sort of backed up by the tapings for the next show of NJPW, where Bullet Club have turned on AJ Styles apparently. So it's very interesting. So what's happened then? So Bullet Club have just turned on AJ Styles and Kenny Omega. Bullet Club has turned on AJ Styles as Kenny Omega pinned Shinsuke Nakamura. So that's really interesting. It looks like Nakamura and AJ Styles and Gallows and Anderson could all be leaving NJPW and be joining WWE. Now that'd be a massive signing for them. It really would. And it also looks like the James Storm move to NXT seems to have fallen through, as I think James Storm is expected to be at the Impact tapings tonight. So again, it looks like the James Storm move to WWE is not going to happen. But yeah, this whole with AJ Styles, Doc Gallows, Carl Anderson, and Shinsuke Nakamura. I know Nakamura did have a trial with WWE during their most recent tour of Japan, the Beast of the East tour. So that's don't get me wrong, it's only a rumour at the moment, but apparently it's quite widely sort of reported, and it's being reported from sources within both NJPW and WWE as well. So that's definitely one to keep an eye out on the next few weeks. Because it looks like AJ Styles is no longer going to be the leader of Bullet Club. They've turned on him, by all accounts. Well, they've turned on him, but still Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson is there. Maybe there's going to be some sort of implosion with Bullet Club and the whole formation might break down, or they might bring in a few new people to really pep it up. But I was saying in one of my videos only a few weeks ago that they have to, if WWE ever want to get AJ Styles, they have to go soon, because he's not getting any younger, and they're only going to get a few sort of years out of him. He's not got a lot left. And it's the same with Samoa Joe as well. A lot of people don't realise just Samoa Joe's got quite a few years behind him. Of course, he did debut in Ring of Honor in like very, very early 2000s, so he's been around for quite a long time. Fenix here with a pin on Drago. 1, 2. Only a 2 count. That can make wrestling really interesting for me this year. if those 4 guys were to move to WWE, and with Lucha Underground starting back up again, TNA could have a good year. We don't know. They're bringing in guys like Michael Bennett and Maria, so that really shows that they're willing to invest a bit of money to try and beef up the roster. So it could be another very good year for wrestling. Of course, British wrestling just gets better and better every year. The new deal between Ring of Honor and Pro Wrestling Guerrilla is definitely going to improve Pro Wrestling Guerrilla as well. It looks like it's going to be a fantastic year for wrestling. I've not actually watched Wrestle Kingdom yet. I have got... So I'm sure I can get a hold of it somewhere to watch it, because I don't think it was actually distributed in the UK. So I'm pretty sure. I think NJPW actually list a lot of their... Oh, what a great dive that was by Fenix, the outside on Drago. I think NJPW actually put a lot of their videos and some of their shows on YouTube, and AAA does the same thing. I'm sure AAA put a lot of their stuff on YouTube. So I'll definitely be looking to watch that in the next few days. So I think I already know a couple of the results, but I don't think it really matters too much. It's a bit like Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. You watch these events not necessarily for who's going to win the match. You watch the actual events for just how good the matches are going to be. But yeah, that's one that you should keep an eye on in the next few weeks, because it's going to be a very interesting... If it does happen, the way that I've just said, and those 4 guys going to WWE, that could really beef up the roster in WWE. And whether they're going to be brought into the main roster straight away, I should imagine AJ Styles, Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson could be, because they've been working a lot of TV anyway, so I can't imagine it will take them too long to be taught things about like where the hard cameras are going to be and stuff like that in WWE. Sunset flip bomb there by Fenix, in for the pin. 2. Only a 2 count, and Drago managed to reverse the pin. Drago almost picked up the 3 count. And yeah, I can't imagine those 4 being stuck in NXT for too long. Not that being in NXT is a bad thing, but I just think that WWE should really get them on the main roster as soon as possible. And for me, Nakamura is one of the best in the world, and it might be a bit more difficult with Nakamura because English is not his first language, so things like promos and stuff like that are not going to be fantastic for him, but I think the quality of matches he can pull off. And like I said, I think it was Nakamura versus AJ Styles at Wrestle Kingdom, and there is Fenix with a victory over Drago. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was AJ Styles versus Nakamura at Wrestle Kingdom, and by all accounts it's a match of the year contender, even though we're only 4 days or 5 days into the year now. It looks like it's going to be a really good addition to the roster, so I hope that does happen actually. I normally don't like indie stars. I'm sort of ambivalent about indie stars leaving the indie scene, because although it's great to see them on TV every week, at the same time it sort of affects the indie scene, and I suppose it's a good thing though, because as some of the stronger guys leave the indie scene, it opens up the spaces for other guys to move in and make a name for themselves. That's just how it all works, I suppose. Like you've seen guys like Daniel Bryan leave the indie scene, and that's when the likes of Davey Richards sort of made his name for himself, and then Davey Richards left the indie scene, and then Kyle O'Reilly started to make a name for himself, and there's a lot of things like that. You have people sort of step up, and when Sami Callihan left Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, they brought in Trevor Lee, who's a similar sort of style of wrestler, and it's really helped him out a lot. And I suppose it does help the natural progression. People get better, and they get brought up into WWE, and that creates a space in the indies to bring new people in, and it's an endless sort of loop then, really, I suppose. But a great win here for Fenix. He lost last week against Drago. Now he manages to get himself a victory, and these guys are 1 each now. Like I said, we are going to see an Intercontinental Championship at some point during our Mexican pay-per-views, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one. Right, and here is our rivalry update as well. So Fenix has become slightly more prideful and respectful from that. He's also on a double momentum boost and a hot streak, so he's looking really good at the moment. Drago's become more bold, more prideful and more respectful, and yeah, he's not picked up a cold streak yet. Obviously he picked up a victory last week, so he's not had 2 successive losses as of yet. And here is our next match. It is going to be our first quarterfinal from the Top Prospect Tournament of the evening, as Nick Jackson takes on Jack Evans, and of course Matt Jackson and Angelico will be at ringside. And here we go. Another very long loading screen for me. I accidentally left the entrances on this one, so the loading screen took a very long time to load all the entrances up. So it's Nick Jackson versus Jack Evans. The winner of this one will go on to face the winner of our next match in the second of the two semi-finals, which is of course Will Ospreay versus Mark Andrews, which is a match that I recently did on a random match as well, and it's going to be a fantastic match. We did the random match actually in the Progress Arena, and the Progress Arena is a really good one. I actually really enjoyed that. Great hip toss there by Jack Evans. Jack Evans now the big stomp on the guts. A big kick on the back by Jack Evans as well. Big thrust across the back and another one. Nick Jackson now the Hurricanrana. Doing a great job here on Jack Evans. Standing moonsault, and of course, what sort of effect is the likes of Matt Jackson and Angelico going to have at ringside? Of course, I did want to defend the Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships at some point, but of course, both Angelico and Jack Evans have been involved in this Top Prospect tournament, which has sort of had them tied up really. So once we get an opportunity, maybe even next week, because next week we'll just have the one semi-final, which I believe. Let me get the results. Let's just look at last week. So the semi-final is going to be Grado versus ACH. Is the first semi-final. We've got a chance of a full English final. Well, not English. A full British final. Grado, of course, being Scottish. Both Mark Andrews and Will Ospreay, both English. So we've got a chance. Is Mark Andrews English or is he Welsh? I think Mark Andrews is from Cardiff. I'm not 100% sure on that. But yeah, we'll have a full British final as a possibility. Of course, we have said now, instead of having the winner collected championship, the winner will be known as the Top Prospect from now on in this universe mode. But they'll also get an opportunity at the Next Gen Championship, currently held by Pentagon Junior. And that might very well be at this upcoming pay-per-view, because I think we can do... what have we got? We've got 3 weeks left before the next pay-per-view. So I'm thinking what we should do is... There's a package pile driver there by Nick Jackson, summoning the spirit of his good friend Kevin Steen. Nick Jackson now up top. Went for the moonsault, but Jack Evans moved out the way. So yeah, I'm thinking what we can do is we'll have our first semi-final next week, the second semi-final the week after, then we'll probably have a week's break, and then we'll do the final at one night of our pay-per-view, and then we'll have the Next Gen Championship involving the winner, and of course Pentagon Junior another night at our main pay-per-view. So that's really what we're going to do with that. And then of course we'll see the Sky Blondes defending their Global Force Wrestling Junior Heavyweight Championships at some point. They did win those belts on their debut night against Red Dragon, and they've not defended them once since. Of course, Red Dragon now the Global Force Wrestling Tag Team Champions. Nick Jackson there, the Faymaster on Jack Evans. And I wonder if the Young Bucks would ever consider going back to WWE. Of course, I believe they were there very early on in their careers when they were obviously at FCW, and they were there doing working. I think they were released, and that's when they went to TNA, and then TNA released them. I don't think TNA released them. I think the Young Bucks actually asked for their release. Sunset flip bomb there by Jack Evans on Nick Jackson. Doesn't go for the pin though. And a standing corkscrew moonsault. I tried to put corkscrew moonsault together there. 1, 2, and Nick Jackson kicks out. And it's been interesting, this competition, because it has given an opportunity for both the Young Bucks to try themselves out in singles competition. Spinning neckbreaker there by Jack Evans as well. Now Evans going to the outside, and Jack Evans doing it. He's taken the top off of the announce table. Probably not the best thing to do. Very odd. Nick Jackson joins Jack Evans on the outside, and a Hurricane Run on the outside as well by Nick Jackson and Jack Evans. And maybe this could be our Junior Heavyweight Tag Team match, the Sky Blondes versus the Young Bucks. The Bucks are a team that I really want to do well on this universe mode, and I give them a lot of opportunities, but they never seem to really pick it up. So hopefully I might be able to give them a few more opportunities, and they can start to pick up a few victories and build up momentum, because I would like to see them become quite a strong tag team in this universe mode. For me, they are one of the best tag teams out there in the world at the moment. If not the best tag team out there in the world. Jack Evans back in the ring, breaking the count now, back to the outside. Bringing Nick Jackson back up to his feet. And sending Nick Jackson straight back into that announce table. Jack Evans bringing Nick Jackson back up to his feet. What's he got planned here? That's a DDT through the announce table, and Jack Evans finally got use out of the announce table. We saw him set it up a few minutes ago, and finally manages to put Nick Jackson through it. Brings him back up to his feet, but slides back into the ring because the referee got to a 6 count. That's one of the things that I'd like to see the game change a little bit, because if I was Jack Evans there in real life, I would have left Nick Jackson on the ground. Nick Jackson straight in and hits a spear, and he could have stole this one. 1, 2, and Nick Jackson does go through, but I'm pretty sure we all saw Jack Evans had his hand on the ropes. The referees missed that one. Jack Evans is not going to be happy, but at the end of the day, this is a knockout competition. He is out. Nick Jackson goes through to our semi-finals. He is going to face the winner of our next match between Will Ospreay and Mark Andrews. And the referee has really dropped a bollock here, if you excuse my language. Very interesting result. It could have really gone either way. Of course, Nick Jackson being put through the announce table by Jack Evans. Not the sort of thing we normally see Jack Evans go for, but it seemed to be effective. Standing corkscrew moonsault there by Jack Evans as well, and that was not enough to pick up the 3 count though. I think we're going to see the DDT now. See Jack Evans taking Nick Jackson up. And there he is with the DDT straight through the announce table. And if Jack Evans had left Nick Jackson down on the ground there, he might have even picked up the victory. But Nick Jackson slid back into the ring and just caught Jack Evans straight with that spear out of nowhere. You see the referee is at a terrible angle. I'm sure he can't even see if Jack Evans would have lifted his shoulder off the mat. It's a terrible angle by the referee. And I'm sure the Sky Blondes are not going to be very happy with that at all. But either way, Nick Jackson is victorious here, and he's going through to our semi-finals in a couple of weeks' time to face off against the winner of our next match between Will Ospreay and Mark Andrews. And here is that next match, Mark Andrews versus Will Ospreay, for a chance to face off against Nick Jackson in the semi-final of the Top Prospect Tournament in a couple of weeks' time. And here we go. Now, in between the last match and this one, I have just watched on the internet Bullet Club turning on AJ Styles. And the thing that I like the most about it is that it seems that Kenny Omega seems to have taken the leading role now in Bullet Club. And he's actually said out that he's coming for Shinsuke Nakamura. He wants to move out of the junior heavyweight division and become a heavyweight. And that's such a fantastic thing, because I think Kenny Omega is such a fantastic wrestler that he could really do well against some of the top stars. And it looks like he's going after Shinsuke Nakamura. So we'll have to wait and see how that one pans out. But that looks absolutely fantastic. And it's a shame we can't watch NJPW weekly here in the UK, because I'm sure they do an actual English show every single week. So I have to see if I can try and find that somewhere. But it looks absolutely fantastic, and it looks like AJ Styles has been expelled. The fact that AJ Styles has been expelled from Bullet Club and Kenny Omega has made it sort of apparent that he wants to go after Shinsuke Nakamura. Sort of takes away the possibility of a feud between Omega and, of course, AJ Styles. It looks like they're just going to skip over that whole thing. AJ Styles might just disappear out of existence. And if that is the case, then do you think there's a possibility that AJ Styles could debut at the Royal Rumble in a few weeks? That is a distinct possibility. AJ Styles, I think he's a big enough name in wrestling to be able just to walk out at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view and for people to know instantly who he is. And it would be a really good way for it to happen. Although I have just read the results from Monday Night Raw last night, and I'm a bit annoyed at what they've done. Not so much a spoiler here, Blue Thunder bombed there by Mark Andrews and Will Ospreay. Not so much a spoiler, but they've actually named the Royal Rumble is now going to be the championship match, which I'm really unhappy about, because the Royal Rumble is just... It's a fantastic thing, the Royal Rumble. And apparently that's the way that Roman Reigns is now going to defend his WWE Championship. So it sort of leaves it open for what they're going to do at WrestleMania. Normally we know that it's the champion versus the winner of the Royal Rumble goes on to WrestleMania. But at the moment, like I say, it's Roman Reigns defending his WWE World Heavyweight Championship in that Royal Rumble. And it's just stupid because we all know that Reigns is more than likely going to defend it. And it sort of takes away... But then, are they really going to have Reigns win the championship, win the Royal Rumble 2 years in a row? That's, again, another interesting question. Either way, I think Reigns is going to end up main eventing WrestleMania, be it as a champion or be it as a challenger. But I'm a little bit disappointed. I would have rather have seen Reigns defend his championship in a singles match or a triple threat or fatal four-way, whatever it was going to be, and then have the Royal Rumble the way it's going to be. Because I'd love to see AJ Styles debut and do pretty well. But yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed with that from WWE, but NJPW seems to be going from strength to strength, and I think that's what we should do with our Kenny Omega then, maybe. Maybe we should push our Kenny Omega up his stats a little bit. If that's what NJPW are doing, they're going to boost him up to be sort of into... Well, they're putting him in a feud against Shinsuke Nakamura, so they obviously really rate his talent, so maybe we should give him a slight stat boost on... a slight stat boost on our game as well, and try and boost him up there. Because I really like Kenny Omega. He's one of my favourite wrestlers, and I was so happy when he came in to join Bullet Club last year. And I think it'd be fantastic for us to do the same sort of thing on our Universe mode. Bring Kenny Omega up the rankings a little bit, and have him fight for the big championships. And of course, if AJ Styles and Bullet Club and Nakamura do move to WWE or NXT, then we will mimic that in our Universe mode as well. And it also opens up everyone's minds, and open up your minds out there as well if you are watching this, to sort of matches that you'd love to see involving those four guys. You've got Bullet Club, you've got AJ Styles, you've got Nakamura, and of course remember we do the random matches. Yeah, so if you have any ideas for random matches that might involve those four guys, then let me know. Again, if you have random matches that involve anyone, let me know, because I do like to... I'm trying to get one recorded every single day at the moment. It's shouldn't be too difficult now, especially after this week. Once the retro roster is finished, we should be able to get our random matches recorded. But yeah, any ideas for random matches, please let me know in the comment section below, especially ones, like I said, that involve AJ Styles, involve Nakamura, involve Bullet Club. I think what I might do over the next few days, I might try and recreate some of those matches that happened at Wrestle Kingdom for some of our random matches. Maybe Tanahashi versus Okada, of course AJ Styles versus Nakamura. I think those are the main ones. And maybe we could do Kenny Omega versus AJ Styles as well. Again, 3 fantastic random matches there. So again, if you have any ideas, please let me know in the comment section below. Of course, this match, which is currently going on in the ring at the moment, we did do this as a random match recently. Mark Andrews versus Will Ospreay. We used the Progress Arena. I think I mentioned it earlier on. It was a fantastic random match. Really worth a watch. A good high fly one. As you can see, these two guys are absolutely incredible high flyers. Mark Andrews now taking Ospreay up. Ospreay fights back and takes Mark Andrews round into the twisting neckbreaker. Ospreay back up to his feet, dragging Mark Andrews into the middle of the ring, and over the top cutter. And of course, remember, Mark Andrews actually, Will Ospreay uses that inverted 450 as a finisher. And we have seen it once so far in the Top Prospect Tournament. Love to see it happen again. Mark Andrews now hooking the arm of Will Ospreay and dropping him across his knee head first. And there's a lion salt there by Mark Andrews. Of course, a move made famous by Chris Jericho in the late 90s. Oh, great stunner there by Mark Andrews as well. In for the pin he goes. 1, 2. Oh, it's only a 2 count. I tell you what, this is going to be a feud that I would definitely like to see as well between these two. And also, this could be a fantastic tag team. Of course, we haven't got any of these guys set up as tag teamers yet. We've got Mighty Skull and Zack Sabre Jr. set up as leaders of New School. These two, I think, would be a fantastic tag team as well. And there goes Will Ospreay up to the top. There's that inverted 450. What a fantastic move. He's got to go for the pin now, Ospreay. Surely. No, he doesn't. He goes for a lion salt as well. Now going in for the pin. This could be Ospreay through to the semi-finals. No, Mark Andrews kicks out on the brink of a 3 count. Hands on hips there by Will Ospreay. He's not happy. Mark Andrews now catching him. Oh, and there's that double arm DDT. Made famous by Cactus Jack. In for the pin now, Mark Andrews. 2. And Mark Andrews does pick up the victory. Of course, the man currently contracted to TNA, the winner of the 2nd annual British Boot Camp. He's not really done a lot in TNA so far, to be brutally honest. He's been there. He's not really had a lot of opportunities. He's had a few opportunities here and there, but nothing really to get his teeth into. He's been put in some big like 4-way matches and things like that. But I think it'd be great to, as you see, it took a long time for Rockstar Spud to really establish himself in the TNA roster, and I think Mark Andrews can do it eventually as well. But the best thing that Mark Andrews is going for him is that with the new TNA rules brought in sort of middle of last year, where they can work indie shows, Mark Andrews has now become a permanent member of the Pro Wrestling Guerrilla the Pro Wrestling Guerrilla roster, and I think a few of the other indies are using him as well. So it's fantastic to see him getting the opportunity in America to really get his name out there. And here you see this inverted 450. 450? I think it's 450. I'm surprised that wasn't enough. Well, it could have been enough. He went for the lion salt straight away after. I'm surprised this wasn't enough. The 450 and the lion salt together. And look how close the referee's hand came before Mark Andrews kicked out. And Andrews managed to get back up his feet and straight away caught Will Ospreay with a double arm DDT. And the way you hook the arms just to stop someone getting their hands down to try and protect themselves. So that's all forehead to the mat. And I think you can actually see that Will Ospreay was slightly busted open by that as well. So Mark Andrews is victorious. He's going to go on to face off against Nick Jackson in a couple of weeks' time for a space in the final of the Top Prospect Tournament. So we now know our 2 semi-finals are going to be Nick Jackson versus Mark Andrews, and of course ACH versus Grado. And here is our next match. It's going to be the Sumerian Death Squad, Michael Dante and Tommy End, taking on the Unbreakable effing machines, Michael Elgin and Brian Cage. And here we go. And as you can see, we have a new Brian Cage. One we had before wasn't fantastic. It had a bit of a funny face going on, but this one actually looks pretty good. I like this one. And of course, the Sumerian Death Squad, Michael Dante and Tommy End. As I mentioned before, one of my favourite tag teams, a team that I've seen live quite a few times across the UK Indies. And Tommy End, again, someone that I've seen wrestle live quite a few times in singles competition as well. This man is absolutely lethal. He's got a hell of a bunch of kicks on him. I think he's actually a trained kickboxer, I believe. And I've seen him just hit a few kicks live, and it was just absolutely immense. I think he actually knocked one guy just clean out in one match. After the match had finished, it took 2 or 3 guys to sort of carry the other guy back into the locker room, and he was just out of it. You could see he was just looking all around like he didn't have a clue where he was. It was that sort of kick. Michael Elgin, of course, done pretty well in this universe mode so far. Was part of the G1 Climax, as was Tommy End as well. Both guys didn't do too badly in the G1 Climax, but I didn't think they really got as far as they would have hoped to. Massive powerbomb on the outside there by Michael Elgin and Michael Dante. And you'd have to think that all 4 of the guys in this match are pretty good shouts to maybe get a singles championship run at some point as well. And I'm wondering whether we should bring any extra championships in. I know we've got rid of the Ring of Honor Television Championship, and we've got the Next Gen Championship. We're going to merge the 2 tag team championships at some point as well, Ring of Honor and Global Force Wrestling. And I'm just wondering whether we should bring another championship in. I know NJPW have is it the Neverweight? Which I'm not quite sure what the Neverweight is. I'm not sure if that's like a heavyweight. I think it's quite a stiff. From the matches I've seen, everyone who does it seems to be quite a stiff worker. I don't know if we should bring it just seems like having one big championship just seems a little bit. But then again, a lot of these guys don't need championships, like Elgin, Tommy End, Dante, Brian Cage. They don't need championships to really define who they are. They're fantastic wrestlers as it is already. They can put on some incredible matches, so maybe they don't need another championship. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you think we should maybe add another championship in? Or are you happy with having just the Global Championship, the Intercontinental Championship, the Next Gen Championship, of course the Tag Team Championships, the Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships, and of course we'll be getting the Global Force Wrestling Women's Championship in soon. So in fairness, that's actually quite a few belts, so we're probably alright, to tell the truth. Here's that new Brian Cage in action in the ring, looking pretty good straight away. This is the first time I've actually used him in the ring, so it's great to see how well he actually works in the ring. Big kick to the back of Tommy End. Cage now slamming End into the mat. And Cage now bringing Tommy End back up to all fours, and a big blow across the back of Tommy End. End now with a front chancery on Brian Cage and pushes Brian Cage away. Tommy End now with a fisherman suplex. Some people try and bridge and pin the fisherman suplex, but Tommy End decides to continue the assault. Obviously doesn't think he's done enough damage to Brian Cage to warrant going for a pin. That's probably correct. Still the honest truth. Tommy End now with a big blows to Brian Cage and a big kick across the chest as well. Big right hand by Tommy End, but Brian Cage catches the boot after the kick. Now sends Tommy End over and going for a very powerful version of a cloverleaf there. Just seemed to move his body into position so easily. Massive powerbomb there by Brian Cage. You see the amount of force he launched him into the mat with. That's quite impressive, I must admit. Referee now down for the pin. 2. Oh, it's close to a free count. I thought they might have had it there, you know. And another massive powerbomb there by Brian Cage on Tommy End. Tommy End slowly back up to his feet once again. Brian Cage stalking. Brian Cage now taking Tommy End up. Oh, look at that for a suplex into a pile driver. Massive, massive move. Michael Elgin's in. And what a debut this has been for Brian Cage. He's absolutely demolished the Sumerian Death Squad. Absolutely demolished Tommy End. And that is an impressive performance. This is looking very, very, very impressive. And I think we're going to see a lot more of Brian Cage. Like I said, the first time I've used this version of Brian Cage, the attire looks spot on. The face looks spot on. The size looks spot on. The actual moveset looks really good as well, and I'm looking forward to really getting this guy into some really good singles competition as well. It's a shame we can only have. What am I trying to say? 3 feuds at a time, because I'd really love to get a few more on the go. Of course, we can do more sort of manual feuds, which we're currently doing with the Prince Puma versus the Disciples of Death feud. So it's not a fantastic Brian Cage, but it's a lot better than the one we had, and I think it's going to be a pretty good addition to our roster. What a great win here for the Unbreakable F Machines. The first time I think they've tagged together, and it was incredibly dominant. And here we go. Who has Mil Muertes managed to... who has he managed to press gang into his Disciples of Death? Well, here comes Prince Puma. We know that last week he defeated the first member of the Disciples of Death. That, of course, was Pentagon Jr. Big surprise. Get the next gen champion. What a way to start off his new stable. And it's just going to make him a lot more dangerous. Prince Puma now making his way onto the edge. And I keep saying this every single week, but why do I keep forgetting to... why do I keep forgetting to change his entrance to the real one? That's one thing I can't remember. It's a bit annoying. But yeah, who is it going to be? We know Catrina will be at ringside for the new member of the Disciples of Death, but who is it going to be that comes out here now Oh, it's La Parka. So La Parka joins Pentagon Jr. as a member of the Disciples of Death. And I really like La Parka's entrance, actually. It's looking really good. Of course, La Parka is also a member of the Attitude Era as well. We did have him as part of the Cruiserweight division, but I'm not quite sure his body type is designed for Cruiserweight anymore. But I still think we can do pretty well with him, actually. This is a really good addition for Mil Muertes. A bit more experience. Pentagon Jr. is a lot of young, raw talent, but I think the experience now is going to be what really helps Mil Muertes out. So, can the second member of the Disciples of Death do any damage to Pentagon Jr. or Prince Puma, in fact, who is in the ring? Of course, Pentagon Jr., the first member of the Disciples of Death, now joined by La Parka. And I tell you what, not only is it looking pretty good for them as a singles and a stable, but having an actual tag team looks pretty good as well. Of course, we're going to get another member of the Disciples of Death next week. And then I think very much the stable might be complete next. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, Pentagon Jr. and La Parka alongside Catrina and Mil Muertes is looking like a very strong stable. The Disciples of Death will do anything to help. Of course, Mil Muertes pick up the victory. We know that Mil Muertes is going to face off against Prince Puma at our pay-per-view. Probably going to take place at the Lucha Underground episode, since they're both Lucha Underground characters. I think we're going to have the CMLL pay-per-view on the Friday night. We'll have the Lucha Underground pay-per-view on the Saturday night. And then, of course, the Triple Mania main night of the pay-per-view on the Sunday as normal. But, of course, that's still 3 weeks away. We've still got Retro roster this week. We have got Payback for the current day roster next week. And, of course, we're going to have... that Mexican set of pay-per-views taking place the week after. I do have quite a lot of new people added to this roster, but at the moment I'm struggling to get them on the card because we've just got so much going on at the moment. So hopefully when we have those 3 nights of pay-per-views, we can really showcase a lot of the new people. I'm not going to go into too much detail as yet, but Die Hard Detroit has done some fantastic work once again with some more indie stars added to the community creations, and I have got hold of a few of those, and I'm really looking to try and debut them. But of course, with the Top Prospect tournament and of course this feud between these two and the 3 feuds we're currently doing as well, it's been quite a lot of stuff going on. Great move there by La Parka, just sending Prince Puma face first into the mat. And I think we've used La Parka in quite a while actually. I've had him sat there in my community creations for a while, just waiting to get use out of him. And I think it's great to finally get to this point now where he can be part of the Disciples of Death. Of course, part of probably a tag team that's going to hopefully go for the tag team championships alongside, of course, Pentagon Jr. being the next gen champion, and of course Mil Muertes at some point will hopefully be going for the world championship as well. I want to try and mix it up a little bit because last year we only really had, I think we had the whole time we did Global Force Wrestling, I think only Okada, Michael Elgin and AJ Styles and Tanahashi, just 4 guys were involved in the championship and actually won the championship. I think we had a couple of extra guys in our very last episode, in our finale episode. I think it was a Fatal 4-Way, but I want to try and make sure this year we have a lot more variance in who goes for these championships. So I think Mil Muertes is definitely going to be one of the top guys. La Parka now rolling. Prince Puma over, goes in for the pin. 1, 2, only a 2 count. And what a fantastic night would be for La Parka to pick up a victory over Prince Puma. Of course, fresh into this new stable, I think it'd be fantastic for him to make a good impression in the leader of the stable, of course Mil Muertes, and the manager of the stable, of course Catrina. And Catrina does have some sort of power over Mil Muertes. Of course, she has that stone. And I think that sort of gives us some sort of influence over Mil Muertes. As Prince Puma now taking the top off the announce table. So La Parka taking the top of the announce table. And Prince Puma full strength to Parka's trap. Is Parka looking to maybe put Prince Puma through there? It will make a hell of a statement if he does. And Parka up onto the top of the announce table. Referee's still counting these two out. And are we glitched? I don't know if we've glitched or it looks like Prince Puma's having a nice little jig there. Another fucking glitch. Well done, game. Well done, WWE 2K16. Well done, 2K Games. You've absolutely fluffed another one. Maybe... Is the referee going to count them out before Prince... No, here we go. Ah, oh, what on earth is going on? What on earth is going on? Right, here we go. Attempt number 2 at this match. We had an issue in the last match. Another fantastic glitch brought to you by 2K. And basically what happened, Parka took the top off the announce table. Took Parka up there. Sorry, he took Prince Puma up there. And it looked like he was going to go for a move. But all of a sudden, Prince Puma just started doing this little jig. Just a little back and forth little jig. And Parka wouldn't move. And they both got counted out while stood on the top of the announce table. So fantastic work once again by 2K. And, well, in fairness, we got 4 matches into today's recording without a single glitch. So we've done pretty well by 2K standards. Hopefully this one will be a little bit better. And I can't remember what I was saying. I was doing some fantastic commentary in the last one. You should have seen it. It was amazing. But yeah, I think Parka, obviously a new member of this Disciples of Death stable. And it's going to be pretty good because I think not only is the stable, of course, going to hold Mil Muertes, who at some point will be looking to try and get his hands on the Global Force Wrestling Heavyweight Championship. Trying to make sure we get a few different names in there this year, because last year we just very much got stuck with Okada, AJ Styles just over and over again going for the championship. This year, of course, Chris Hero has the belt now. We know he's going to defend it against AJ Styles in our our Mexican set of pay-per-views coming up soon. And then after that, we'll try and mix it up a little bit, try and give some more opportunities to some different people. But not only is Mil Muertes going to be going for that championship, of course, Pentagon Jr. already has the Next Gen Championship. We're going to have another member to the Disciples of Death next week. So that'd be pretty interesting to see who that's going to be. And of course, probably Parka and the other member will become the tag team for this stable. And maybe even get a hold of those tag team championships at some point. So it's a really interesting little storyline. I've had Parka sat there in my creations list for quite a while now. And I've not used him very much. Of course, he is part of the Attitude Era as well. So I've not used him very much, but I'm hoping part of this storyline will get him a lot more use in the universe mode. So of course, don't forget that Mil Muertes will be taking on Prince Puma during our set of Mexican pay-per-views. I'm thinking our Mexican pay-per-views are going to be a CMLL-based pay-per-view on the Friday night, a Lucha Underground-based pay-per-view on the Saturday night, and that's probably going to be main evented by Prince Puma versus Mil Muertes, since they are very much Lucha Underground stars. And then of course our final night, night number 3, will be the Triple Mania, AAA basically arena, where we'll see Chris Hero defend the Global Championship against AJ Styles, as we found out last week. And there'll be some other matches there as well, of course. Fenix Vs Drago for the Intercontinental Championship. Since it's a rivalry, it'll probably take place on that 3rd night as well. Nakamura versus Strong, Kurt Angle versus Adam Cole. We're going to see Tag Team Championship matches. We're going to have to see the Ring of Honor versus the Global Force Wrestling Tag Team Championship match. Obviously a unification of those 2 sets of belts. Currently the Global Force Wrestling Tag Team Champions are Red Dragon, and the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions are, of course, the American Wolves, David Richards and Eddie Edwards. So we'll do a unification match at some point in our pay-per-view for that. And we'll see all the belts defended, and hopefully, if not before, then after that pay-per-view, we will see the introduction of the Global Force Wrestling Women's Championship. We'll probably do a tournament to crown our first women's champion. I think that'd be quite a good way of doing it. Prince Puma with a big kick to the back of Parka now brings him back up to his feet. Springs him off the rope, brings him back up and catches him with that huge spinning kick What a great move that was by Prince Puma. Is that going to be enough to finish the match off? 2 and 3, and it is. Prince Puma defeats the second new member of the Disciples of Death. We're going to get one more member next week, of course, and that should fill up our stable. We'll have Mil Muertes, Pentagon Jr., La Parka, of course, one more member to be announced, and of course Catrina as the lady of the company. And of course Catrina will also be involved in our Global Force Wrestling Women's Division. I think she is a wrestler. She has wrestled in the past, of course, as part of in NXT. I'm not quite sure if we might have to give her another wrestling attire then, maybe. And I think in having someone like Mil Muertes at ringside or something along them sort of lines might make a decent sort of proposition to become the Global Force Wrestling Women's Champion. She's probably not going to be very highly rated. It's probably going to be the same as what we do with Stephanie McMahon in the Attitude Era Women's Division as well, I think. But Prince Puma picks up a second victory in 2 successive weeks over new members of the Disciples of Death. He has one more match next week. Who's that going to be against? To find out. The bell goes and we are underway. Of course, the King of Strong Style versus the King of the Backbreakers. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Roderick Strong. Now, as I was saying earlier, there's some strong rumours going around today that Nakamura may be looking to join WWE pretty soon. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. And of course, Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong, I'm not sure if he's ever going to be able to join WWE or anything like that. Now, I think he's pretty happy where he is, to tell the truth, though. He's one of the top guys on the indie scene. He's currently contracted to Ring of Honor as well, I believe. I'm not 100% sure on that. I think he is. He's contracted to Ring of Honor, I believe, but I don't think he was in one of the locked contracts that stopped certain people working for PWG. Of course, that doesn't matter anymore because PWG have announced a new deal with Ring of Honor that allows their stars to work there. And that is one of the best things, in my mind, that could have happened for indie wrestling. Because it brings guys like Kyle O'Reilly back, brings guys like Adam Cole back, and just those two guys alone were massive additions back to Pro Wrestling Guerrilla over the last couple of pay-per-views. Not only that, we've had of course Michael Elgin come back into PWG as well, so that's absolutely fantastic, and I'm really looking forward to watching some of the more up-to-date shows. Massive dropkick there by Roderick Strong, but I think the referee managed to accidentally get in between the two guys there. This match continues onwards, but the referee is down for the moment. Nakamura with a big German suplex, and Nakamura for me is one of the top Mexican wrestlers out there, and Mexican? Oh, Mexican, he's Japanese for God's sake. One of the best Japanese wrestlers out there, one of the best wrestlers in the world I think out there actually, and if he does join WWE I think there could be some fantastic matches incoming. And like I said earlier on, if you have any ideas for some random matches that might include the likes of Nakamura or AJ Styles, including some of the guys that are currently on the roster in WWE, then please let me know. I think I have had a suggestion for AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe a while back actually, but I think I've been held on to that one until we could get a hold of this Samoa Joe actual downloadable content, because I think it'd be better to do it that way rather than actually using the created one. I just realised that I've actually put a match on this evening. I did the Sumerian Death Squad versus the Unbreakable effing Machines, and that was a random match suggested by Kyrie Bellick a couple of weeks back. So Kyrie, if you are watching, we've done that one, but I will also upload it as a random match for you separately as well, so don't worry about that if you've not seen it. But if you've not seen it, then you can't hear me talking now anyway, can you? So what a completely pointless conversation I've just had with myself there. I apologise for that. So Roderick Strong now ducking. The clothesline there is the butterfly powerbomb on Nakamura, and I'm so disappointed the game keeps deleting feuds like this, because this was one I was really excited about. I think out of all the feuds we created, this is the one that I really wanted to see the most. And for the game to delete it just really annoyed me. So it's definitely one we keep up with, and we'll definitely do it again coming up into our big set of pay-per-views, of course. Nakamura, big kick to the side ahead of Roderick Strong. And there's a gutbuster as a... It's not really a gutbuster, it's more of a code breaker, wasn't it, really? And of course, just to get the ball rolling with random match ideas, one of the ones that a lot of people have suggested, and one that I wanted to see as well, is Shinsuke Nakamura versus Daniel Bryan. That's one that everyone has always said that's going to be a fantastic one. And I might even do that myself in the next few days, I think. Would definitely be a really good one. There are so many fantastic ideas out there, and you guys have been incredible random matches ideas. I've got one that should have already been uploaded before this video, I think, which was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Hideo Itami. That was suggested by Snazzy Fox over on Twitter. And I've got a few others as well that are really good ones that I really want to try and get done as soon as I possibly can. And there's the suplex into the backbreaker there by Roderick Strong. Doesn't go for the pin though, slams the arm of Nakamura into the mat. Now brings him ever so slightly away from the ropes, now goes in for the pin. 1, 2, it's only enough for a 2 count. Clubbing blow across the back there by Roderick Strong, now bringing Nakamura back up to his feet. And sending him into the turnbuckle. And Nakamura reversing, sending Roderick Strong into the turnbuckle, and there's a big chop. Roderick Strong drops to the ground, and a big kick across the chest as well there by Nakamura. Strong now sending Nakamura over the top rope, and a big right hand, and Nakamura drops down hard. Strong rolls out to join him on the outside, brings him back up to his feet. Referee starts the count, and this match starting to lose a bit of control now. Poor referee. Roderick Strong locking in a loose variation, but oh, look at that, he's pulled the leg up as well into that abdominal stretch, a very painful version of that move. Referee's up to a 4 count as Roderick Strong continues the assault on the outside. Nakamura looks to break free, and there's a hip toss on the outside. And Nakamura slides back into the ring as it gets to a 6 count. A 7 count as Roderick Strong comes back in as well. I don't know what it is with Nakamura, but he seems to struggle a little bit in these games. There's the pin by Roderick Strong. And there is a victory as well by Roderick Strong. The damage must have been done on the outside. It didn't take much to finish Nakamura off there, but the straw that broke the camel's back in my mind. He did a lot of damage on the outside, and earlier on in the match, of course, he hit that big gorilla press into a gutbuster, and of course the suplex into a backbreaker as well. Another big backbreaker there, of course. We know that Roderick Strong is notorious for his backbreakers, as he was in his early days at TNA. There's that very loose butterfly powerbomb. Great move that again by Roderick Strong. And Strong is someone I can see actually maybe going for the Global Force Wrestling Heavyweight Championship at some point as well. I think that's something we could do after the next pay-per-view is actually just do a 6-way battle royal with 6 guys that have never had an opportunity at the championship before in our universe mode. And just see who comes out on top. There was the suplex into the backbreaker there by Roderick Strong. Normally, his finishing maneuver he likes to use quite a lot. But instead of going for the pin straight away, he slammed Nakamura's arm into the mat, brought him slightly away from the ropes, then went for the pin. But of course, it was not enough at that point in time to pick up the 3 count. Only enough for a 2. And it was the big chop in the corner. But the damage had already been done. I think that was just the, like I said, the straw that broke the camel's back to finish him off. For the 3 count. So Roderick Strong is victorious here. He was also victorious last week against Nakamura as well. So Roderick Strong in firm control of this feud now. We'll have to see what happens next week, of course, though. And here is our next match and our main event here this evening. It's Kurt Angle taking on Adam Cole to continue their feud. And here we go. We are underway. Kurt Angle taking on Adam Cole, continuing on their feud. Last week it was a victory for Kurt Angle over Adam Cole, so Cole will be itching to try and level up the stats here this evening. A clean break from both guys there. It sounds like I've been drinking, but I have, but I've only had 1 can so far, so I can't understand why I'm slurring my words so much at the moment. I think the problem is I'm still off work for Christmas. I had a few days extra to use up, so I've been off. I'm not going back now until Wednesday the 6th. And then I've got Thursday off as well, so I'm looking pretty good actually. But because I live on my own, I've barely spoken a word in the last few days, apart from when I record. That's since I tend to speak when I'm in my flat. So I've just forgotten how to talk, I think, basically. Adam Cole now sending Kurt Angle over the top of his shoulders, dropping him down hard to the mat below. And Adam Cole now just twisting the neck of Kurt Angle. Really Really showing some strong signs in the early parts of this match. Adam Cole now bringing Kurt Angle into the middle of the ring. And locking in a figure 4 leg lock on Kurt Angle. Great move by Adam Cole, really using his environment to his advantage. And it's a clever move as well, going for something like a figure 4 leg lock. You are going to take away a lot of the core strength of somebody, and since we know that Kurt Angle likes to use those trio German suplexes, taking away his legs might make it a bit more difficult for him to do so. Jawbreaker there by Adam Cole on Kurt Angle, and Kurt Angle returns the favour with a jawbreaker of his own. And now a belly-to-belly suplex by Angle on Adam Cole. Kurt Angle with a big headbutt to the back of the head. Right hand there by Adam Cole, and another one as well. But Kurt Angle returns with some strikes of his own. Now bringing Adam Cole into the middle of the ring. Takes him up, and there's a gutbuster. Now I'm not sure if this video is actually running longer than normal. Of course, we may just start the main event, and I'm up to an hour and 20 minutes already. I know I spent a little bit of time in between some of the matches just looking at that stuff earlier on about the Nakamura and AJ Styles situation. But yeah, it seems to be a bit of a longer episode. I think that's because, of course, we have moved all of our shows now up to 7 matches. Because we're only doing 4 a week rather than the 6. Well, we will be doing 4 a week next week instead of the 6. And I felt like the 4 that we do should be a better sort of matches. And of course, since we have a massive roster now in Global Force Wrestling, we've got nearly 70 people on this roster. We have to have bigger shows to try and incorporate everyone into it. So I think we might have to start doing some more Fatal 4 matches and things like that just to try and get more people on the card. So maybe we can start doing something like that next week. Kurt Angle there with the trio of Germans. Obviously the figure 4 leg lock wasn't enough to damage the legs sufficiently. Kurt Angle going in with the pin now. 1, 2. It's only a 2 count. Now, of course, a couple of days ago we uploaded the Unforgiven pay-per-view for the Attitude Era, and before that pay-per-view we uploaded the pre-show. Now, Kurt Angle did a very, very good pre-show. He was involved in a 6-man Elimination Chamber match. He actually won that Elimination Chamber match, so he now gets to pick between going after the WWE World Heavyweight Championship or the WWE Championship itself in the Attitude Era. So, yeah, if you're interested in that, be sure to check it out. There is a link in the description below to all of the playlists of our current universe mode. So, if you want to have a look at the Attitude Era or the Retro roster or the current day roster, then they're all down there for you to have a look at. I can't talk at all at the moment. I don't know what it is. I think the problem is I try and talk a bit quicker than I probably can. I've always had a bit of a stutter since I was younger, so I try and talk really quickly. So I think the best bet is just to try and slow down a bit like this and just try and talk at a more sensible speed rather than just trying to rush through things. Adam Cole now joining Kurt Angle on the outside. I do like this Kurt Angle call, actually. Of course, he debuted as part of the G1 Climax Festival. I said it was going to happen, and it did happen. And these two guys were both involved in group number 4. And Adam Cole actually won the 20-man Royal Rumble, which decided the groups, which gave him a bonus point going into that G1 Climax. And that bonus point was enough to knock Kurt Angle out of the group stage and put Adam Cole through to the semi-finals. Of course, Adam Cole actually lost in the semi-finals to AJ Styles, who then went on to lose in the final to, of course, Chris Hero. Chris Hero, probably the most in-form man in our universe mode so far. Done fantastically well in Ring of Honor. And then, of course, once we've merged Ring of Honor with Global Force Wrestling, again, done incredibly well. Won the G1 Climax Festival. Unified the Global Force Wrestling and Ring of Honor Heavyweight Championships. So, basically, Chris Hero is the man to beat. Belly-to-belly slam there by Kurt Angle. Now, Angle's going up top. We've not seen a moonsault from Angle in some time. Is this going to be it? It is a beautiful moonsault by Kurt Angle. Straight into the pin he goes. Referee slow down, but it's enough for a 1, a 2, and not enough for a 3, though. Adam Cole had just enough left in the tank to kick out. Kurt Angle now with the front chanter in Adam Cole. Takes Adam Cole up, and there's a gutbuster. Gutbuster slash backbreaker. It's right in the middle, really. You're straight across the side of somebody. It does a bit of both. And now Adam Cole did have a strong start to this match, but I think Kurt Angle from there on has really taken some control. And there is the Angle slam by Kurt Angle. Can he make it 2 wins out of 2 against Adam Cole? I don't know why they hit the finisher. For some reason, their first instinct is to back away a few steps, then go over. But 1, 2, and 3. And there we go. Kurt Angle does pick up the victory over his rival Adam Cole for the second time in 2 weeks. And Kurt Angle's going to be very, very happy with that result. Now, Kurt Angle offering out a handshake to Adam Cole. And Adam Cole is not having any of it. He's not happy about that loss at all. And Adam Cole leaves Kurt Angle in the middle of the ring. So, before we finish this episode, let's have a quick look at the rivalry update. So the rivalry update is rising tensions. Adam Cole's frustration is growing after losing to Kurt Angle. This is giving Kurt Angle a momentum boost. He's already on a 2-times hot streak. And apart from that, Adam Cole has gained nothing really. He has become more prideful, respectful and perseverant. It's amazing he's become quite a chunk more respectful, even though he lost the match and refused a handshake. So that's a bit interesting. I think I might have to change some of these because he should be, I don't know, prideful and egotistical are so similar. I can't see how they're opposite sides of the spectrum, really. I think Adam Cole should be much more egotistical, much more disrespectful. I might change a bit of this in the next set of matches, but yeah, that's the end of this video. I hope you have all enjoyed it. Of course, if you have, then be sure to slap that like button. And if you are new around here, be sure to subscribe as well for a lot more WWE 2K16 footage. Like I said earlier, if you do have any ideas for random matches, please let me know in the comment section below. I am specifically looking for ones at the moment that do involve the likes of AJ Styles and Nakamura, and even Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows as well, maybe joining the WWE roster. So if you've got any ideas for those, please let me know. Obviously against guys that are currently on the WWE roster, then we can have a look and see just what we could expect in the next 12 months. I've been Shabby Gamer, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.